Good morning, folks, and welcome back for week 3 of building construction for the fire service. This week you're going to be looking at the chapter 3 in the IFSTA book, which is going to discuss building design. And one of the things you're going to see is that occasionally we respond to collapses that were caused by errors in design, or maybe we operate in buildings that collapse due to fire, but the design of the building was significantly contributory to the collapse. In other words, the building was not well designed to resist fire. As we've discussed previously in the course, construction is 100% about profit, and so every time the building code goes up for review, the construction lobbies, the people who are stand to make money if the code is relaxed, go to work chipping away at the provisions of the code. And you'll see some evidence of that in some of the videos and some of the materials that you're going to look at in this course. In addition to reading the chapter and taking the quiz at the end of the week, I do have several videos loaded. The first one at the top of the screen here is a look at truss roof collapse, again with Chief Vincent Dunn. It's some tactical and strategic things to be considering while you're operating on the roof or while you're operating underneath a attic fire. There's a folder here that has some optional readings from FEMA, and this stuff is pretty good. All 3 of these articles are really technically solid. We just don't have time to really explore them in depth in the course, but if you have an interest that goes beyond understanding this at the level that the course content objectives require, all 3 of these are good reading. And then I've loaded 2 videos about structural engineering errors that led to, in one case, a near collapse, and in the other, a collapse that created 101 fatalities. So the first one is about the Citicorp Tower in Manhattan, and it was an inadvertent oversight by the design engineer in the way that the structural joints were designed. There were factors of safety that were incorporated, but unfortunately those were eroded by field changes that were made as the building was under construction. Those changes were approved by an engineer, but the engineer that approved the changes did not consider all of the aspects and all of the implications of the change. The other video that I've loaded for you here is of the Hotel Skywalk collapse, and this is from Kansas City. This created 101 fatalities, and it's used commonly as a case study in engineering in general and structural engineering specifically about the consequences of unanticipated results from making changes to design. So kind of the same story here, that as the structure was designed initially, it was robust, it was appropriate, it followed established engineering practice, but in the interest of expediting the construction and reducing the cost of the construction, changes were made that created significant structural problems. So I'd like you to watch both of these videos just to kind of get some perspective on some of the things that the book talks about. The last thing I've got for you this week is I want to continue the discussion we started last week. So you'll see there's a new discussion loaded in the discussion board, week 3, what would you do, continued. And some of you may have seen this prompt at the end of last week, but it didn't, I don't think we got enough discussion on it, so I want to keep going with it. And it basically has to do with the fact that we're using the people's resources to try and protect public safety. Part of our role in doing inspections of occupancies where there's a public life safety interest is to protect the public from the building owner. In other words, you have a certain level of expectation of safety when you go into a public building or a building that is someone's workplace, and that's maintained by the fire department. The discussion you'll be having is to what extent it's appropriate to use fire department resources to get compliance in terms of public safety in buildings. So we talked a little bit about it last week. Again, I would like you guys to engage in this discussion and talk about, in particular, using budget resources. For instance, would it be appropriate for the fire department to fund a grant program that assisted commercial property owners in having fire sprinklers installed? Even if fire sprinklers weren't required under the code, it's in the interest of the mission of the fire service, and I'm looking to get your reaction as to whether or not it's appropriate to use the taxpayers' resources to fund that type of thing. So I look forward to your posts on that. Beyond that, you'll just do the activities for this chapter. I'll put a little note in here that in the coming weeks we will be looking at a report that you guys will be assembling. It's a research report that you're going to assemble basically over the last 8 weeks of the class, and next week with your briefing I will give you a little bit of information on that so you can start thinking about what you might want to do that report on. As always, if there's anything I can do to assist you with the materials or your learning, please feel free to get in touch with me at the contacts listed in the syllabus, and have a great week.